So, Dr. K, this idea of occupational performance, it's not something I'd ever connected with college life before. Can you explain what it really means?
Sure, Tim. Occupational performance essentially refers to how well someone can carry out the daily activities they need or want to do, whether it's studying, socializing, exercising, or even managing basic self care. It's about the balance between personal abilities, the demands of the task, and the environment.
Okay, so it's not just about academics?
Exactly. It's much broader. Let's take a college student, for example. Their occupational performance could include organizing their study schedule, engaging in social activities, finding time to relax, basically anything that contributes to their success and well being during college.
Got it. And this study we're talking about, did it measure that somehow?
It did. Researchers used a tool called the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure, or COPM. It's a standardized interview where participants identify areas of life where they're struggling or want to improve. Then they rank those areas based on their importance, their performance level, and their satisfaction with that performance.
Wait, so these students were actually naming specific challenges they had? Things like time management or, I don't know, making friends?
Yes, that's right. The students highlighted what mattered most to them, whether it was academic demands, managing emotional stresses, or social engagement. And then they'd rate how well they thought they were performing in those areas and how satisfied they were with that performance.
Interesting. And what did the study find?
Well, one key takeaway was that satisfaction with occupational performance, how happy students were with how they were doing, was strongly linked to how well they adjusted to college life. Things like emotional well being and even academic performance were tied to these satisfaction levels.
So, if students feel good about how they're handling things day to day, they're more likely to succeed overall?
Exactly. The study showed that performance satisfaction was a predictor for total adjustment. Students with higher satisfaction in daily activities tended to thrive more, both academically and emotionally.
That feels kind of obvious, honestly. Like, of course, people do better when they're satisfied, but I guess it's different tying that back to their day to day activities, right?
Right. What's surprising is how practical this connection is. If we can help students identify where they're struggling in their daily activities, maybe their routines don't fit or their campus resources aren't meeting their needs, we could potentially improve their overall well being and even prevent them from dropping out.
So, kind of like an early warning system?
In a way, yes, satisfaction in occupational performance might signal how a student is doing mentally and emotionally. The study hints that intervening early, helping them improve those key areas, could set them on a better path towards success.
Huh, that's fascinating.
When students move into this new phase of life, university, it's not just about learning the material in their classes. Building on what we were discussing, adaptation becomes crucial. Those same areas students identified, academic, social, and personal, play a huge role as they navigate this new environment. It's how they handle these demands that shapes their identity and impacts their satisfaction and success.
So, it's like they're figuring out where they fit socially and academically?
Exactly. It's this period of intense self discovery. Think about all the changes happening at once, leaving home, meeting new people, maybe even living with a roommate for the first time. There's a real shift toward becoming independent, and the way they adapt to new roles and routines can influence how they see themselves.
Huh. And it's not just the big picture stuff either, right? Like, even small things could make a big difference.
Absolutely. Everyday tasks like managing time, balancing social life with academics, or even basic self care matter a lot. If they're able to handle those small daily challenges, it paves the way for bigger successes and builds their confidence. I have talked to students about simple activities like taking a shower and how easy it is to let those things go when you are busy, but it doesn't feel good. Other areas in life can suffer as a result.
That makes sense. Actually, it reminds me of something my mom used to talk about after she had her stroke. She saw an occupational therapist. It was all about these small goals like relearning how to hold a cup or write. At first, I didn't understand why that mattered so much, but now I get it. These are the building blocks.
Exactly, Tim. And that's a great example. I recall a stroke client once that I helped into the shower for the first time after his stroke. He looked me right in the eyes and told me, I finally feel like a person again. Those small successes give a sense of control and progress, which are so important for emotional well being, especially for students tackling a lot of change at once.
So the same principle applies. If students feel good about the little things day to day, it sets them up to handle the bigger stuff too.
That's right. Students who feel balanced and satisfied with their routines are more likely to thrive emotionally and socially. And that emotional adjustment is key. It's directly tied to how satisfied they are with their daily activities.
Now that's interesting. So even if they're managing academically, if they're not adapting emotionally, it could throw everything off?
Exactly. Even strong academic skills aren't enough without emotional resilience and satisfaction in day to day life. It's all interlinked.
Wow, so adaptation really shapes their identity, huh? It's clear that adaptation plays such a critical role in shaping a student's experience. So, Dr. K, how do we take all of this understanding and translate it into real strategies to support students before they reach a point of struggle?
Great question. One key is early intervention, identifying students who are struggling with things like time management or social connections early on. This is where tools like the COPM can be incredibly useful. I am also developing another online tool that can serve the same purpose, but takes up less resources because students can do it on their own. By pinpointing what specific challenges they're facing, we can tailor support to meet their unique needs.
Right, but here's what I'm wondering. How do we even know who needs that support at the beginning? Not every student is going to raise their hand and say, "Hey, I'm not doing well."
You're absolutely right. That's where observation and creating a supportive environment come in. Faculty, staff, even peers can play a role. For example, if a student seems disengaged or overwhelmed, that could be a red flag. Universities could also implement wellness screenings or peer mentoring programs as a preventive measure. Educating faculty on how to support students better can also go a long way.
Got it. So, we're not just waiting for the wheels to come off, so to speak. We're catching issues early.
Exactly. Another strategy is teaching practical skills. Things like how to prioritize tasks, build positive habits, or balance academics with downtime. These might sound basic, but they're foundational for success, especially during this transitional phase from high school to university.
Sounds practical, but let me ask, how do these strategies connect to mental health on campus?
Oh, there's a huge connection. When students feel capable and satisfied with the way they're managing their daily life, it boosts their emotional resilience. And mental well being is tied directly to whether they thrive or struggle in college. By addressing occupational concerns, we're not just helping them pass classes, but setting them up for long term success.
That's powerful. So, what's next in terms of research? Are there gaps we still need to fill?
Definitely. We need to explore more about the link between satisfaction in day to day activities and mental health outcomes. Can improving occupational performance actually reduce rates of stress and anxiety among students? And how can we measure those improvements over time? These are questions that future studies should tackle.
That would be fascinating to dive into. Honestly, this has been such an eye opener for me. I never realized just how much this kind of work could impact students' well being and their success.
It's definitely an area with so much potential. Universities are these incredible ecosystems for growth, but students need the right kinds of support to truly thrive. Addressing occupational challenges could be a game changer.
Well, Dr. K, this has been amazing. I've learned so much today, and I'm guessing our listeners have too.
Thanks, Tim. It's been great to share. I hope this sparks some thoughts for anyone working with students or students themselves. There's always room to grow and improve, and it's never too late to start.
On that note, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time to talk about student success in OT.